Namaste guys, Rajesh here from Namaste Tech, and in this video I'm going to show you some of the best hidden tips and tricks for the Poco F1. So let's cut all the crap and jump straight to these tips and tricks. So the first one I think is very useful. It's raise to wake. Since the Poco F1 comes with face unlock, the handset will automatically unlock itself as soon as you pick it up and look at the display. However, to trigger face unlock, you will first have to wake the display of the device up, and for this you will need to press the power button. However, the Poco F1 comes with a very useful raise to wake feature, which for some strange reason is disabled by default. You can enable it by going into settings, display. You can see there is a raise to wake option. Simply enable it, and then whenever you pick up your Poco F1 from a table, the display will automatically wake itself up, which in turn will trigger face unlock, thereby unlocking the phone. Another useful feature that you can see here is double tap screen to wake. This means that you can double tap on the Poco F1's display to wake it up. Again, for some strange reason, this feature is disabled by default, but it's one that I think every Poco F1 user should have enabled. Now, if you're not a fan of the navigation bar on the Poco F1, you'll be glad to know that it comes with navigation gestures that you will find in other MIUI 9.5 devices. Head over to settings, full screen display, and you can see that there is an option called full screen gesture. Enabling it will hide the navigation bar, and then you can navigate around the UI simply using gestures. I've already done a separate video on MIUI 9.5 gestures, so make sure to check it out to know how navigation gestures work on the Poco F1. There's another useful feature that you will find here. It's the ability to hide the screen notch. So if you're not a fan of the notch on the Poco F1's display, there's not much you can do about it, but you can at least hide it. Enable this option and you'll see that the Poco F1 will simply display a black bar for the notched screen area. It will use it to display only the time and certain system icons, but otherwise the notification shade and notification icons will be displayed separately. Despite not coming with an OLED display, the Poco F1's display is good enough that once the notch is hidden, it almost fades away from your peripheral vision while you're using the device. Another useful option for people who prefer using the navigation bar is the mirror buttons option. This will allow them to simply swap the position of the back and the recent app button. This might be useful for people who are coming from a Samsung device, in which the order of the navigation bar is usually reversed from what Google prefers on stock Android. Now, even the base variant of the Poco F1 comes with a staggering 6GB of RAM, which is going to be enough for most users. However, if like me, you prefer keeping a tab on the overall RAM usage of the phone, you'll be disappointed to see that by default, the Poco F1 does not show the RAM usage like the MIUI devices in the recent app screen. This feature is disabled by default, but it's actually very easy to enable. Simply head over to settings, home screen and recents. Scroll to the very bottom where you'll see the option called show memory status. Enable it, and then when you head back to the recent app screen, you'll see that it will display the RAM usage. If you buy the base variant of the Poco F1 with 64GB of storage space, here's a tip on how to make the most of it if you're someone who shoots a lot of videos. Head over to the camera app and switch to video mode. Now if you dive into the settings of the camera app, you'll see an option called video encoder. You have the option of recording videos using the H.264 encoder or the H.265 encoder on the Poco F1. The H.264 encoder is more popular, which means any video that you shoot on the Poco F1 using the H.264 encoder will work across a bunch of devices, including older Windows PCs. However, in such a scenario, in comparison, videos shot using the H.265 encoder will occupy significantly less space, up to 40% less, but they might not play well on older devices. So if you own PCs or devices that have been launched over the last year or so, they are most likely to play back H.265 videos just fine. So my recommendation would be to switch over to H.265 encoder for recording videos on the Poco F1. This can make a world of a difference, especially while recording 4K videos. In the same camera settings menu, you'll find the option to use the fingerprint scanner as the shutter button. Simply enable it and then you can simply tap the fingerprint scanner while the camera app is open to take a photo. This works for both the rear camera as well as the front camera. The Poco F1 is primarily aimed at gamers and heavy users. If you're a gamer, you might want to use the Poco F1's gaming mode, which will automatically optimize system performance and even network connection for the best performance possible. Plus, it will also block unwanted notifications and disable hardware buttons so as to ensure that your gaming session is not interrupted in any way. To use the gaming mode on the Poco F1, head over to security and use the game speed booster option that you see at the very bottom. The game speed booster mode will automatically scan your phone and add any installed games on your device to its list, and if it fails to detect any game for some reason, you can manually add it as well by using the add game option. To customize the game speed booster settings, head over to the settings option at the very bottom, where you will find plenty of settings to play around with, including connection priority, what to do when you receive calls, DND mode, and more. If you're someone who's heavily into PUBG or any other Android game, make sure to give Game Speed Booster mode on the Poco F1 a try. The Poco F1 comes with a notification LED, but it's only white in color, which means it's not particularly useful. You can disable it. For that, head into Settings followed by Additional Settings. You'll see the notification light option here. Tap on it and then toggle both the options off, the light up when charging and blink light options. This will ensure that the notification LED on the Poco F1 will not blink whenever you receive a new notification or when the phone is being charged. Finally, here's a simple tip on how you can quickly take screenshots on the Poco F1. By default, you have to press the volume down and the power button. But there is a much simpler way, a simple 3-swipe down gesture. However, you need to first enable it. This can be done by going into Settings, Additional Settings, Button and Gesture Shortcuts. Select the Take a Screenshot option and then tap the Slide 3 fingers down option. This gesture will work even while you are using third-party applications. So these were some of the best hidden tips and tricks for the Poco F1 guys. If you have any other tips for the handset, please do share with us in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please do hit that like button below and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.